Alright, so I ruffled some feathers with my last video on The Last of Us, Episode 7 review. If you haven't seen that, go ahead and check that out. But wow, I got a lot of hate mail from a lot of people, a lot of comments down below. You can see them. I have not deleted any of them. A lot of people were mad at me for saying that, apparently saying, because I didn't say this, but apparently saying that Ellie should not be gay. That there should be no homosexuality ever. I never said those things. I never said those things. Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am the Anti-Woke Warrior. Wow, I give you the information right in the title of my channel. Please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Make sure that you're still subscribed. You can find me over on Rumble and on Twitter. There are links in the description box down below, so go ahead and check that out. So if you came at me with good faith on the last video and were like, hey, I disagree with you. I had a guy come to me and say, hey, you know what? I appreciate you making this video, but I disagree with what you said. I'm going to keep watching your stuff, and hopefully, I don't get turned off by your content. Maybe we just disagree sometimes or a lot of times, and that's okay. But if you're going to be like somebody I don't like, I'm going to stop watching you. And I'm like, that's fine. You're allowed to have that opinion. I totally respect that. If you came at me and you argued in good faith, if you're just like, hey, look, I'm trying to be straight here, then okay, we can get along. But if you came at me and were just like, you're stupid. You're so stupid. You didn't play the game. The show can have gay people in it. Yes. Or one person, you're just pusillanimous because you don't like the show, because you don't like gay people or whatever, something to that effect. You can check the comments. They're all there. Look, I said very specifically in my last video, I have never played the game. I said it in the previous video I made on this show. I've never played the game. And I also said in my last video, if this is the way it is in the game is also stupid. Okay? I'm sorry that you can't see this. I covered all of my bases. Rewatch the video. If you didn't watch it in the first place, why are you leaving comments? Please watch the video again and point out to me at what point did I say that Ellie should not be gay? At what point did I say Ellie cannot be gay? At what point did I say Ellie's sexuality should be switched to heterosexuality? When did I say those things? I said none of those things in the video. You can watch it again if you don't believe me, or watch it for the first time, because I'm sure some of you didn't watch it. You just made comments because you think you're smarter than me. The thing that I point out is that this show is forcing the homosexuality onto the audience. They made this show intentionally advertising it as a post-apocalyptic zombie apocalypse show. So you're thinking action adventure, fun post-apocalyptic stuff. That's what a lot of people went into this with. I've never played the game. The director even comes out and says that this show was made to push propaganda, to push homosexuality onto the audience. I have the clip here from my video from this Episode 7 review right here. And finally, I actually do have proof on this particular series in general. Bounding into comics, The Last of Us director admits to tricking audience to push gay storylines and propaganda. As part of his answer, Hoare stated, sometimes you have to sort of trick the rest of the world into watching these things before they're like, oh my god, it was two guys. I just realized, I think then they might understand that it's all real. It's just the same love. Except they're pushing this in a show that they know is going to be popular. It's going to be watched by a lot of people. Like, I've never played the games. Never even actually seen the games being played. No exposure to the game. And I'm watching this show because it looked like it might be a good show. Boy, was I wrong. Okay? I'm not making this stuff up. The guy said that he wants to push homosexuality onto the audience. Why? Because he knows this is going to be a popular show, because post-apocalyptic shows are very popular. Zombie apocalypse is very popular. Action adventure is very popular. I'm going to address this on a much more personal note now. My wife watches YouTube videos of homosexual and trans people from her home country all of the time. She'll spend an entire day just watching videos from different homosexual people, different trans people from her home country. But she watched this episode and she came to me and goes, why is it all gay? I don't understand. And she was sincere. She's like, she thought it was like a cultural thing. Like, why is this like all about the gay? I don't understand. Is this like, I don't know why it's all about the gay, other than they want to push the homosexuality onto the people who are not suspecting this. And she even said some of the same things that I said that were problems with the last episode, which was, how did Ellie get Joel into the garage? That seems unlikely, if not impossible. And the whole middle part was so boring, like them running around in the mall just being stupid girls. Okay, whatever. Oh, and my wife is like all about action adventure. Like, if I say, what kind of movie do you want to watch? She's like, action and fun every single time. Like, you would think that a post-apocalyptic show is going to be about action interesting survival situations. But no, it's more about the homosexuality. And so we're kind of disappointed. And that's not to say that a show that is about homosexuality cannot be good. Here we have the Rotten Tomatoes for Bros. Look at this. Audience score 90%. Critic score 89%. Apparently, it's a good show. It bombed because people don't have any interest in seeing homosexuality. Most people are just like, I don't care about that. I'm not going to watch that because it's about homosexuality. And so if the director had admitted, hey, look, in the advertising, this is a show about homosexuality in a post-apocalyptic world, who's going to watch that? That does not sound interesting at all. And the show is proving that. The show is not interesting. It's really kind of boring. And another thing is like, I'm going to point out all the woke stuff now. You come here to Anti-Woke Warrior, I'm going to make sure that I point out every little woke thing about this show. Every little thing. I'm not going to skip anything. Yes, I'm going to also point out everything that does not make sense. I've been kind of glossing over some of them. We're not going to do that today. Should Ellie's sexuality be changed? No. I don't believe in changing characters from their original form. She can be gay. But I'm often reminded, mind you, by the progressives that, oh, gender is a spectrum. Oh, sexuality is a spectrum. Oh, it's fluid. Gender and sexuality are fluid. I don't know what to tell you. Then you could just fluidly change her sexuality according to them. I don't think that you should. And yes, like I said, I didn't play the game. So if I say something that is not accurate to the game, I'm talking about the show. Okay? I don't know anything about the game. And we know that the show is going to be popular. They assume the show is going to be popular, and they want to push this gay agenda in the show because more people are watching the show than there are playing the game. And how can I make such a bold statement? Who doesn't have a TV in North America? At least in the United States and Canada. Who doesn't? There are people who don't, but that's rare. Who doesn't have a game console in the United States or Canada? A lot of people. And who has a game console or a computer to play games on has played this game? I haven't. I have 3 computers and I have a game console. And I have never played this game. So you're going to get a lot more people watching this because it's easier to sit down and watch a show for 45 minutes, an hour, than it is to sit down and play a game for 145 hours. And maybe it's a great game, but I don't want to support wokeness. So we got to point out the wokeness. We're not going to watch it yet. We got to point out the wokeness. So, all right, starting with race swapping. The Last of Us. Here we go. We got Ellie and Joel. Joel doesn't look Hispanic to me. Pedro Pascal is Hispanic, right? Yeah, Pedro Pascal is born in Chile in 1975. He is going to be 48 here next month. So I'm guessing that if you're born in Chile, you're Latin American. And this guy here looks like he might be part Hispanic. He might be part Latin American. I don't think so, though. He looks pretty white to me. Race swapping is against the rules. You cannot race swap. That is woke. Don't be race swapping people. Oh, we have Tommy, Joel's brother, who's blonde hair and looks like he has blue eyes. Those are hallmarks of white people. He was also race swapped because he's Hispanic in the show. Oh, there's Maria. She was black in the show. Race swapped again. What do you know? Oh, there's Riley. They got her right. Although Storm Reed, to me, looks very Blasian. I mean, she looks like she's a quarter Chinese. According to Wikipedia, she is not. I don't know if that's true. I mean, maybe one of her parents is like, no, I'm 100% black, even though they're actually only half black. I don't know. So they might have gotten Riley right. Why don't you, dear viewer, who's played the game and understands all this stuff that I'm too stupid to figure out on my own, why don't you just go ahead and give me a list of all the people they've race swapped from white in the game? I'm sure there's about everybody. Just about everybody I'm sure that they have done that with. Because, you know, we can't have white people in these shows. They have to be diverse and inclusive. Otherwise, they're not good. And yet we see Hollywood failing repeatedly in recent years because they keep race swapping people. They keep shoving in this progressive agenda. Yet I'm the bad guy for pointing it out to you that it's happening and saying, yeah, you know, maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we should focus on merit instead of race and sexuality and gender. But what do I know, right? I just have a YouTube channel that I complain about stuff at. I don't have a full-time job where I can just give up all my time and just do research on things. It doesn't really matter. I mean, before the show came out, people weren't even talking about this game. Let's get into the actual episode. Here we go. So we start off with church proceedings. I don't know, funeral proceedings. It's some sort of gathering where they're reading the Bible, and then they go outside and they talk about how they're running out of food. The problem with this is we don't know who these characters are. I don't recognize any of these individuals. Not saying that they haven't been in previous episodes, and they haven't been mentioned in previous episodes. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I don't recognize them. So I'm kind of like, do I care about these people? Is this the beginning of a new show? I don't know what's going on. So Ellie kills a deer, and we run into the 2 men who had speaking lines from the previous episode, or the previous scene. and they're going to take the deer. Well, Ellie sneaks up on him and says, hey, you can't take that. It's mine. They try to make a deal with her, and she says, go get medicine for infections, and when you bring it back, you get half the deer. And if he shows up with anybody else, hey, you know what? I'm going to kill you. And so far, this episode is shaping up to be interesting. Let's see if it continues that way. Now, Ellie and the man that she stays with, the other one went back to their community. They go and they take shelter with the deer so that nobody steals it, of course. But this, of course, is still woke. Why? Because we have the strong, empowered female here. Again, it's not like I'm saying you can't have stories about strong, empowered women, but I can only assume this is part of the propaganda that they want to push. The director, remember, came out and said, I want to push these ideas. So, there you go. So, this is kind of weird here because this guy says that he's a preacher and he started believing after the world ended. He used to teach math before the world ended. And it's like, wait, you went from basically being a scientist to being a religious person after the world ended. I'm not sure if this has any deeper meaning, but it does seem kind of strange. Maybe it's just the way they wrote it. All right, so they tied it all together here. In the beginning, when they're having the funeral proceedings or whatever it was, the memorial, or where we find out the man that they were talking about who died was the guy that Joel killed 2 episodes ago, who attacked him, and Joel ended up winning the confrontation. So Ellie gets the medicine from these men and runs away, leaving the deer. They were going to split the deer, but I guess she decided that it was too dangerous to pursue that. And now she's going to inject Joel with penicillin here. Does she know to make sure there's no air bubbles in there? Because that can cause death. So we come back to the community, Silver Lake, Colorado, where the 2 men were from. And Lurch brings in a tub full of red meat. And the lady asks him, what is it? And he pauses an awful long time before saying, venison. Why would you pause unless you didn't want to tell the truth? All right, so the Silver Lake, Colorado community is going to hunt down and capture Joel and Ellie. I paused the video right here. I didn't mean to. He's about ready to haul off on this young girl, slap her across the face, because she's the daughter of the man who died. And she said, kill him. You can kill them both. So finally, we're getting this to be like a cool post-apocalyptic survival show. Where has this episode been the entire series? Ellie feeds the horse snow, which is not a good idea. I mean, I am no expert on horses, but warm-blooded animals should not consume large quantities of cold substances in cold weather because it will increase your odds of getting frostbite, freezing to death, etc. I wouldn't expect Ellie to know that, though, so this is not something that I'm saying is wrong with the show. I'm just saying this is something that happened. So we have a strong, empowered woman scene where Ellie sees a bunch of crows flying away and realizes that, there are people out there that scared these crows away. They might be coming for me. I should go investigate. Yeah, that's obviously a strong, empowered woman moment because, dude, I would not think of that. I'm much older than her. I have much more life experience than she does. I spent a lot of time around animals. I spent a lot of time in the wilderness, all that stuff. And I would not think to go, those crows were scared. There should be somebody out there in the woods. So more strong, empowered woman. Ellie knows to lead these men away. She hatches a plan very quickly in the heat of the moment to go, I'm going to try to lead these men away from Joel so he doesn't get killed, obviously, because they're looking for him, really, and he's incapacitated, so these men from the town show that they're incredibly bright. They go chasing after Ellie, who is on horseback, on foot. Yeah, not really a viable option. So, anyway, like I said, strong, empowered woman rising. So they succeed at getting her. They shoot the horse. So one of the guys basically cuts her off at the pass. I suppose that could happen. So maybe I was wrong about them chasing after her on foot. Maybe they just, decided that she's going to go this way, so I'm gonna head her off. All right, I can live with that. So the men, they catch up to Ellie without their leader here, the preacher, and they decide they're going to kill her. And I think this is a reflection of how Hollywood and the progressives and the woke feel about white men, white straight men. These are all white men, and only one of them came through to save her. The other 5 of them, or however many there are, I think there's 5, we're going to kill her. Because white men are evil, that's all they want to do is kill women. So they go hunting for Joel, and the preacher lets them go. He's like, yeah, go find him and take your vengeance. Even though in the previous scene we saw him go, hey, we'll bring him to justice. It's like, why the sudden change of mind, sudden change of heart? I mean, I understand people do change their mind and stuff, but it seems like we should have had a scene of them arguing, fighting about, what they want to do instead of him just interrupting them about to kill Ellie. So we were given a really awesome death scene where Joel kills the first of these men. I don't know how it's going to go in the next 20 minutes, the show, but I'm thinking he's going to kill all of them, and then that might be the end of it. Ellie, of course, has to play up the strong, empowered woman, even though she's in a cage. She, was captured by this Silver Lake, Colorado people, and she's being obstinate, even though he's offering to feed her. He said, "Look, I've saved you from the other people who want to kill you, so but we got to keep the strong, empowered woman trope going." So we get the scene where Joel has taken out all of the people who were hunting him down there. So there were 3 men left, I believe, because altogether there were 6, and 3 of them went back to the village. So even this, I think, is also woke, because even half dead, a Hispanic man can take out 3 white men who are armed with guns, and he only has a knife. Joel, he has the 2 men, and he's asking them where Ellie is. So show me on the map where we are. Show me where Ellie is. They're tied up, and he was beating one of them and stabbing him and stuff. And then he ends up killing the one who's told him where we are. Now, you might think this is exceptionally cruel, but, I mean, you can't really leave your enemies behind you. These men know the town. They know the area. They know what he looks like now. They want to kill him. He really had no choice. So, just want to point that out. So, back in Ellie's jail cell, the preacher brings her some food. And then we're shown something that was not a shock to me. Now, it is disturbing, but I am not surprised. Because earlier, when I mentioned Lurch pausing a long time to say venison, it was not bad direction. It was actually him lying. They're eating people. So Ellie attacks the preacher, and he gets angry and says, see what I go tell the others now. And I do want to point out that, of course, it's the white community that's eating people. Imagine the uproar. Imagine how quickly this show would be canceled if they had a community of any other race eating people. Again, like I said, the show's woke. So Ellie, of course, has to be a strong, empowered woman, and with her face all bloody like that, is yelling at, being obstinate to the preacher while she's in a cage even. It's strong, empowered women, everybody. Yep, that's not a woke show at all. Mm-hmm. And, of course, Joel finds the hanging bodies of dead people, that they are going to be butchered and then eaten. The question I have is, where do these people come from? We're not led to believe that there are many, many people out there. And the preacher throughout most of the episode was like, let's take the girl in. Let's make her part of our group. He even offered that to her. He even offered that to her when she was being obstinate in the cage. Like, look, I want you to be part of our group. So why? I mean, maybe it's because she's female, because these individuals here hanging up look like they're male. But of course, this is just part and parcel of, we got to make these people seem as evil as possible, and they're all white. Of course, Ellie, being a strong, empowered woman, fights off 2 grown men, even though she's a little girl. They do it in a believable way, but still, I mean, they were going to cut her up to make food out of her, which doesn't really make any sense, considering they have medicine here. They would have probably beaten her to death before they went to butcher her. It's really... it was like, they got to make these men seem even more... It's like, you don't butcher a live animal. We all know this, okay? What the heck? I mean, maybe it's just me, because I grew up in Illinois and I was around people slaughtering and butchering animals. Believe me, I was traumatized by it because I was a small child when it was going on. But that's the reality of life. Human beings have been eating animals for tens of thousands of years. So Ellie, through her actions of defending herself, lights this curtain on fire. And the preacher man just basically ignores it. It's like, we all know how destructive fire can potentially be. Any reasonable person is going to try and put that out. But of course, we got to make him look stupid on top of being evil, because, he's a Christian, right? So that's also something that the woke are against. And so they would think, oh, what a silly man. He's a Christian. How stupid is he? They have claimed that's evil. I've seen them claim that Christianity is the bane of the existence of humanity. Mind you, other religions are okay, but Christianity, that's the one that's wrong. And then, of course, he's so stupid that he doesn't know to put out the fire in the building that he is in. Yeah. Okay. Of course, they have to make this guy even more evil. Super evil. He's got to be evil white man. He is a violator of women and children, too. Through the things he says, we are led to believe that he has done this before. Ellie, the strong, empowered female child, of course, can beat up the fully grown, much larger than her man and kill him. That's how this works. Yep. It's not woke at all, people. Nope. Nothing to see here. No wokeness. It's a good show. So Joel and Ellie find each other and the show ends. And again, we've seen the director said he's pushing these tropes. The strong, empowered woman, the homosexuality. Obviously, the article was about him pushing homosexuality, but I would not be surprised at all if included in this was him pushing, like, look how strong women can be. Look, this little 14-year-old girl can kill fully grown men. Yeah. So I'm going to finish out this season. This was actually a good episode, honestly. Overall, it was a fun episode. It was entertaining. And this is what the show should have been like. Not this other ham-fisted homosexuality episodes that were put in here. So I'm going to finish out the season. I'm not going to watch. I mean, this is not going to be something that I continue to watch next season. So, yeah, I don't recommend the show. It's not really. This was a good episode. The first episodes were pretty good. So that's 3 out of 8 episodes that were good episodes. And it's not worth your time. If you haven't seen it, don't bother checking it out. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. I don't know if this is the last episode, but if it is, then I'm done with this series.